students, this is Veena, Assistant Professor in the Department of English, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today, we are going to learn about the Subject Verb Agreement, which is very essential in the formation of your sentences. That is, to give appropriate structure to the sentences, you must have authentic and accurate subject-verb agreement. Without the subject-verb agreement, you're not going to cater the proper formation of sentences and make your language effective and also appropriate, which is necessary for the development of your communication skills. Today, let us try to understand what is the subject-verb agreement and what is the key role made by this subject-verb agreement in terms of your English language learning. So, let us get started. Subject-verb agreement means that a subject and its verb must be both singular or both plural. That is, when there is a singular subject, the object must also be singular. If the subject is plural, the object must also be plural. There must be this certain balance and the appropriate usage and agreement between the subject and the object. Now, what is the subject? Subject is me when I am talking. And what is the object? To whom I am referring to. Isn't it? Sita is talking to Geeta. Sita is the subject. To whom she is talking? To Geeta. Object. So, there must be proper essential agreement between this subject and the object. You cannot use a single subject and use plural objects. Okay. Now, I cannot say Sita is talking to many people. No. Whom is she talking specifically? Isn't it? So, there is proper agreement between this subject and verb to cater the need of the requirement of that sentences or the message or the information which you are going to project it to others. So, rightly making the agreement between these two will surely enhance your ability to learn the language effective and also proper. Now, let us try to understand it in more detail and with proper examples such that you will understand it with clarity and you also get that impact over the understand the key role played by this subject-verb agreement between your sentences and in the enhancement of your English language communication skill. Now, a singular subject takes a singular verb. First rule, singular subject takes a singular verb. Next, a plural subject takes a plural verb. This is the basic criteria which you all have to remember in terms of subject-verb agreement. Now, in the following examples, first identify the subject and verb. Then if see the verb agrees with the subject. Right? Now, John live in France. John live in France. For example, if I am using it, John lives in France. See the difference? John live in France. John lives in France. Again, you see, here identify what is subject. Subject is John and verb is live. Where does he live? In France. This is object. Next, the arguments is sound and well supported. Now here, which one is wrong? This is wrong. John lives in France. Next, the arguments is sound and well supported. The arguments are sound and well supported. Isn't it? Here, you should understand that there is that difference between the agreement of the subject and the verb. When you are using the proper verb, here see in the second sentence, the arguments is Arguments is plural here. And is singular. Is it having agreement between those two? No. So therefore this sentence is wrong. But when it comes to next one, the arguments, that is plural, and are is also plural. So the arguments are sound and well supported. So here you should understand the relevance of this subject verb agreement for making your communication more effective and also authentic in the way of making your communication more better and accurate. Now try to analyze those sentences, examples which we have spoken there. Here, sentence 2 is correct, isn't it? Because John is singular, agrees with the third person singular form of the verb to live, that is lives. Next, sentence 1 is incorrect because the subject is singular while the verb is live, that which is plural. So here in the this one is wrong and this one is right. Again here wrong, here right. So in this way we are going to understand that subject and verb must have proper understanding and relation. If subject is singular, the verb must also be in the singular form. If the subject is plural, and the verb also must indicate that plural form. Next, similarly, sentence 4 is correct and sentence 3 incorrect because the subject arguments, that is they, requires the third person plural form of the verb to be are. So try to understand and remember this. Subject verb agreement revolves over this criteria completely. So you should remember singular verbs have agreement with singular subjects. Plural verbs have agreement with plural subjects. This is the basic criteria which you have to remember while writing your sentences. Now, subject verb rules about subject verb agreement. Now, try to understand some of the rules about the subject verb agreement. First one, singular subjects joined by the word and are generally plural. Singular subjects joined by the word and. The subjects which are joined with and, the conjunction and, are generally plural. Here, both the art teacher and the students. Both the art teacher and the students. Together they are they. How can we replace them? They. Enjoy a student-centered approach. Both the art teacher and the student enjoy a centered approach, teacher-centered approach. So here, try to understand that when something is connected with the word and, it can be catered with the need of plural form and are generally plural. Indefinite pronouns. Second rule, indefinite pronouns. Someone, anyone, no one, anybody, somebody, nobody, one, either, neither, usually take a singular verb. These all take usually the singular verb. For example, no one likes to fail at university. No one. So these are the indefinite pronouns. Usually use this singular verbs. No one likes to fail at university. Here, how the usage of it is appropriate, you should try to understand. Now, third rule. Nouns used with a quantifier. Nouns used with a quantifier. For example, what are those quantifier? Some, any, all, most. Can be singular or plural. Your quantifier can be singular or plural. This depends on whether the noun is countable or uncountable. Again, the quantifier is singular or plural. It is dependent on the countable or the uncountable object. Now, let us see some of the policies. Some of the policies. Here, you can use this word they. What are those some of the they? Isn't it? Some of the policies were were rejected whilst others were approved. While others were approved, these policies were rejected. Policies is plural countable noun. Here, the role, the place played by this policies is plural countable noun. Next, some of the research was conducted at the University of the Melbourne. Here, research is again uncountable noun. Is research countable? No, it is uncountable. So, here we are using some of the research was conducted at the University of Melbourne. Here we used plural, were, because some of the policies where it is countable, we are using the plural form, were. When it is uncountable, we are using the singular form, was. See, the difference between the countable and uncountable nouns also make the difference in the usage of your verbs. Here, after a subject joined by either or, neither, nor, or not only but also, the verb agrees with the subject nearest to it. The verb agrees to the subject nearest to it. When after a subject joined with neither, nor, either, or, that verb agrees with the subject which is nearest to it, which is closer to it. Now let us see it through the example. Neither the lecturer nor the students want to reschedule the class. Neither the lecturer nor the students want to reschedule the class. Want agrees with students, isn't it? Students, because here the students are closer than the lecturer. So it is having agreement with the students. Here want agrees with the students. Next, there is and there are agree with the noun of that follows. There is, they are, there are. That is the singular form and the plural form depends on the subject which is nearer to it. Now let us see it. There is flexibility. There is flexibility in this kind of management structure. Next, there are many advantages. See the difference of there is, there are. Dependent on the countable, uncountable. To this kind of management structure. Let me repeat it once again. There is flexibility. Can flexibility be counted? No. In this kind of management structure, here there are many advantages. Number of advantages they have. There are many advantages to this kind of management structure. So, here we are using the plural form. Here we are using the singular form of the verb. Depend on its subject. So, you should try to understand the difference between the countable and the uncountable subject such that the verb agrees according to it and gives out the proper structure which is needed to that particular sentence. Next, in your reading and writing, practice identifying the subject and verb of a sentence. First and the foremost element what you have to do is, first try to understand what is subject and what is the verb of a sentence. How is that you are going to project and place these two things in the way of a agreement? That is more important and you have to prioritize that when you are making your sentences. Here, if the subject is a singular or uncountable noun, remember these rules. If the subject is singular or uncountable, then the verb must be singular. Then the verb must be singular. Then, if the subject is plural, then the verb must be plural too. Rule 2. Next, most subject-verb agreement mistakes can be detected and fixed if you spend some time editing your writing. When can you practice? How can you get good command over this subject-verb agreement is when you sit, give some time to practice, identify the subjects, identify the verbs. We have only two simple rules. Once you master over these two rules, you will have good grip over your subject verb agreement in your sentences. What is the first rule? If the subject is singular or uncountable, you have to use a singular verb. If your subject is plural, then you have to use a plural verb. Two general rules which will fetch the construction of your sentence in a proper way, in a very effective manner. Here, basic rule. A singular subject, she or any name, bill, car, takes a singular verb, that is, goes, shines. Whereas plural subjects take a plural verb. Simple, fast, basic rule. Example, the list of items. The list of items is or are on the disk. The list of items are on the disk because the list of items is countable. That is the reason we are using are or is. Try to understand. The list of items is are on the desk. If you know that list is the subject, then you will choose is for the verb. If the list is subject. If you think that list is not the subject and items is the subject, then you will choose the are. Next, exemptions to the basic rule. The first person pronoun takes a plural verb. I go. I drive. Next, the basic form of the verb is used after certain main verbs such as watch, see, hear, feel, help, let and make. He watched Ronaldo score the winning goal. He watched Ronaldo score the winning goal. See, watched, he. Winning game. That we are going to show that agreement between the game played by the Ronaldo and the way he has watched it. Then rule. A subject will come before a phrase beginning with of. A subject will come before a phrase beginning with of. This is a key role for understanding subjects. Now, the word of is the culprit in many, perhaps most, subject verb mistakes. We tend to use this word of mostly in a wrong way. This is the culprit way which will make our sentences look shabby and clumsy. So we have to be very careful when you use this word of. Hasty writers, speakers, readers and listeners might miss all the two common mistakes in the following sentences. Now just see. First, try to understand what is incorrect in this sentence. A bouquet of yellow roses lend color and fragrance to the room. A bouquet of yellow roses lend color and fragrance to the room. What is the correct format of it? A bouquet of yellow roses lends, not lend. Bouquet of yellow roses is plural. So we use it as lends. Lends, not roses. So this is the difference between the usage of these verbs. How we are going to make that agreement between the subject and the verb. Bouquet itself is the list. It is plural. Bouquet of yellow roses lends. So we are using the plural form to it. Next, two singular subjects connected by or, either or neither nor require a singular verb. Two singular subjects, that is two subjects which are singular, connected by or, either or neither nor require a singular verb. Now let us see how is that possible with the usage of these examples. My aunt or my uncle, we are using here or. My aunt or my uncle is arriving by train today. They are singular. My aunt, my uncle. So we are attaching or between them. So we are using the singular verb here. Next, neither John nor Carmen is available. You are not saying are. They are not two. We are using specifically the singular subjects with the connection of, with the usage of connectivity with the nor. Neither John nor Carmen is available. Next, either Kaina or Cassie is helping today with stage decorations. So here try to understand this relevance when you are using the terms connective conjunctions like or, either or, neither nor. You can use is rather than are to make that sentence effective and correct. Next, rule number 8. The verb in an or either or neither nor sentences agrees with the noun or pronoun closest to it. When you are using neither nor, either or, it agrees with the noun which is closer to it. There may be more number of nouns, but it will agree to the noun which is closer to it. Let us look into it with some examples. Neither the plates nor the serving bowl goes on that shelf. Neither the plates nor the serving bowl goes on that shelf. See, it is agreeing with the bowl. Next, neither the serving bowl nor the plates go on that shelf. Now see this difference between the two statements. When plates are before and the bowl, here it is singular, so we are using goes here. But when we are replaced the bowl with the plates and the place of these two changed, the sentence is taking go rather than goes. So there is that such minute difference in using the subject and the verb. Next, this rule can lend to bumps in the road. Now for example, if is one of the two or subjects, it could lead to this odd sentence. For example, what is awkward here? Neither she, my friends, nor I am going to the festival. If possible, it's better to reword such grammatically correct but awkward sentences. What is here? Neither she, my friends, nor. It is completely awkward. It is not rendering the meaning or the sense of that particular sentence. How is that you are going to correct it? Better. Neither she, I, nor my friends are going to festival. You can use it like this. Or she, my friends and I are not going to the festival. So instead of using like this in an awkward way, you can use them in this forms to render the right way of sentences. So in all your sentences, subject verb agreement is very, very necessary. If you cannot balance this, both the subject and the verb agreement, your sentences will become shortage and they will become senseless. So try to understand these basic rules which are very, very essential in framing out your sentences and also structuring your paragraphs or the articles or the essays wherever it is needed, and also help you in the enhancement of good growth in the written communication skills as well as the oral communication skills. So now rule number 9. As a general rule, use a plural verb. General rule, use a plural verb with 2 or more subjects. You can use a plural verb with 2 or more subjects when they are connected by and. Let us look into it with an example. A car and a bike. See, we are using the and here. A car and a bike are plural. A plural verb with 2 or more subjects. Now here 2 subjects, car and bike. We are using and we are using a plural verb to attach them together to render a meaningful sentences. Now see, a car and a bike are many means of transportation. But note these exceptions. Breaking and entering is against the law. Again, here we have some exceptional cases. These two are different singular subjects, but we are using easier. These kind of sentences are again exception. Next, the bed and the breakfast was charming. The bed and the breakfast was charming. Next, in those sentences, breaking and entering and bed and breakfast are compound nouns. Though they are compound nouns, we used here singular verbs. But in case of the above example, a car and a bike, we used a plural verb. So, of course, there are some exceptional cases, but you have to try to understand the basic rules and also sort down with some exceptional cases which are necessary in intriguing your sentences into the language formation. Now, note. Some think it is incorrect to place a personal pronoun first in multi-subject sentences. For example, I, my dad, and my mom are going to the movies. See this? I, my dad, and my mom are going to the movies. Is it correct? Now let us see. She and Orwell bought a dog. While not grammatically incorrect per se, it is courtesy to place the pronoun last. So, here this should be placed last. Expect when awkward to do so as shown under the rule 3. So, try to make that, remove that awkward sentences. Try to put them in a proper way. See that you are going to make your sentences authentic and accurate. They must look appealing and pleasing towards others. They must not look clumsy or awkward to the others in the way of rendering its understanding and in the way of responding it to the other person. So, try to understand the relevance of that agreement between the subject and the verb to cater the needs of good communication and the formation of the sentences in a very appropriate manner. So, rule number 10. Sometimes the subject is separated from the verb. Sometimes subject is separated from the verb by such words as long with, as well as, besides, not, etc. It is separated. These words and phrases are not part of the subject. Ignore them and use a singular verb when the subject is singular. You have to ignore such kind of words and you have to follow that usage of singular verb at that point of time. Examples. The politician, along with the newsman, is expected shortly. Here, newsman is plural. It is also, along with the newsman is also in the sentence. But the priority is given to the politician. Okay? The politician, along with the newsman, is expected. We are using singular verb. Is expected because our priority is the politician. Okay, next. Excitement as well as nervousness is the cause of her shaking. Here we have given this relevance to the excitement. That is the reason we are using a singular verb. Next. Parentheses are not part of the subject. If you are using anything in this brackets, it is not part of the subject. So, you should use the singular verb with singular subject and plural verb with the plural subject. You have no concern with anything which is written in the parentheses or the brackets or any such things. For example, Joe was always welcome. Joe was always welcome and his trust mutt. This is not given the priority. It was ignored. Next, if this seems awkward, try rewriting the sentence. If you feel that is looking awkward, then you rewrite the sentence, but you are not going to focus with that which is written in the brackets. Now, rule number 11. In sentences beginning with here or there, in sentences beginning with here or there, the true subject follows the verb. How? Let us see. There are 4 hurdles to jump. There are 4 hurdles to jump. This is our verb. Here, the sentences begin with there. So, there are 4 hurdles to jump. There is a high hurdle to jump. Here it is singular. So, we are using is. Here it is plural. So, we are using are. Then, here are the keys. Here are the keys. Here plural, again plural. Note, the word there's a contraction of there is leads to bad habits in informal sentences like there is a lot of people here today, because it's easier to say there is than there are. We are using a comma to separate it. Take care never to use there is with a plural subject. That is, see that if you are using an apostrophe after there, don't use a plural subject. You see that it is used with that subject and it is matching the agreement of the subject and the verb in that particular sentence. Next, use a singular verb with distances. When you use distances, you have to use singular verb, not plural. Periods of time, sum of money, etc. when considered as a unit. For example, 3 miles is too far to walk. 3 miles is too far to walk. 3 miles, of course it is plural, but we are using is. 5 years is the maximum sentence for that offense. 5 years, again plural. $10 is a high price to pay. $10. When it is used in terms of a same unit, you are taking it as a singular and using a singular verb. So, have this I over the sentences when you are using something in the form of a unit. Next, but $10, that is dollar bills, were scattered on the floor. $10 were scattered because it is again plural. Try to understand the significance in the difference of the usage of this subject and the verb. Try to understand this basic rule, singular subject with singular verb, and try to note the exceptional cases and try to understand the relevance of the formation of sentences with the effective use of subject and verb agreement. Now, with words that indicate portions, example, a lot. If you are using the words like a lot, a majority, some, all. Rule 1 given earlier in this session is reversed and above are guided by the noun after of. If the noun of is singular, use a singular verb. If it's plural, use a plural verb. Example, a lot of the pie has disappeared. A lot of the pie, singular. A lot of the pies. A lot of the pies have disappeared. See the difference, how they are used. Next, 50% of the pie has disappeared. 50% of the pies have disappeared. That's difference. Next, a third of the city is unemployed. A third of the people are unemployed. If it is singular, it is singular. If it is plural, it is plural. All of the pie is gone. All of the pies are gone. Some of the pie is missing. So, understand, when it is singular, you are using a singular verb. When it is plural, you are using a plural verb. Have this basic rule, understand its relevance and try to use it in the form of effectiveness to create to your sentences. And again, with collective nouns such as group, jury, family, audience, population, the verb might be singular or plural depending on the writer's intent. Now, this can be taken as the exceptional case. Here, depends on the writer's intention. It can be singular or plural. It can be exceptional. Now, for example, all of the family has arrived or have arrived. We can use both. Next, most of the jury is here or are here. Next, a third of the population was not in favor or were not in favor of the bill. So this is the exceptional case where you can use both, or has or have. Depends on the writer's intention, how effectively he is going to place in front of the audience about this is important. Next, the word where replaces was in sentences that express a wish or a contrary to fact. Was can be replaced with were to show the contrary expression to that subject agreement. Example, if Joe were here, you would be sorry. If Joe were, you can use was also. If Joe was here, but it is replaced with were. Shouldn't Joe be followed by was? Not were. Given that Joe is singular, Joe is singular. So he can be used as was. But we are replacing it with were. But Joe isn't actually here. So we say were. If he is not actually present there. So for that reason we are using it there, were. The sentence demonstrates the subjunctive mood. That is the mood where the person trying to place you or explain you of that particular situation. What is the person saying? If the Joe were here, if he was here, you would be sorry. You are indicating the absence of the person, highlighting it with word. The subjunctive mood pairs singular subjects with what we usually think of plural. Actually, we think it as plural. Were means plural, but sometimes depend on the situation of that sentence, it can be singular. Now, I wish it were Friday. One more example. I wish it were Friday. She requested that he raise the hand. She requested that he raise the hand. The foreman demanded that Joe wear safety goggles. Now, in the first example, a wishful statement, not a fact, is being expressed, isn't it? In this statement, I wish. It is a wishful statement. Next, therefore, were, which we usually think of plural verb, is used with a singular it. Isn't it? Next, technically, it is the singular subject of the object. Clause in the subjunctive mode. It were Friday. Normally, he raised who shouldn't terrible to us. However, in the second example, we are requested to be expressed. The subjunctive mood that depends the expression of that particular person or the way he is going to render it or he is going to show any kind of importance. We are going to use it here. Were. The subjunctive mood is losing ground in spoken English, but should still be used in formal speech and writing. If you are not able to use it in the spoken English, of course you have to see that you have to use this subjunctive mode in the written language of English communication, which is very, very essential, and subject verb agreement is the most essential element for you all to understand, practice and use to get master over the good English language communication. So, try to understand the importance of the subject and verb agreement and understand it with practice of rigorous examples. Only with the practice of lot of examples, you will get command over it. You will understand all these rules. Of course, I have explained you with some examples, but you try to explore it, use it with more number of examples and understand these all general rules for making your sentences with good subject verb agreement and making your write-ups, articles, journals effective and getting good place in the way of your communication. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.